Cardiac arrest is the top cause of death among young athletes in the U.S. But our national investigative team found a big problem. Not every school has an AED or automated external defibrillator to help save lives. Now, Factfinder investigator Rachel DePompa talks to a former student athlete who is here today because of an AED.
A deputy racing down the track after 17-year-old senior Ansel Laureano crosses the finish line and collapses at practice.
You get the breast, I'll get the chest, okay?
Continue with compression. Press, press, press.
The AED already hooked up, about to deliver a second shock.
Come on, buddy.
The deputy performing CPR.
Yes, come on. Come on, Ansel. Come on.
Continue compression, please.
Action that saved Ansel's life and countless others across the nation. There's Linton Beck in Tennessee, a cross-country runner.
You got a perfectly healthy son, and then he's on the floor with no heartbeat.
And number 81, Nathan Higuera in Arizona. He collapsed during summer football practice.
I could not be here right now, you know.
Although these events are rare, sudden cardiac arrest is the leading cause of death in student athletes. According to a study cited by the National Institutes of Health, the survival rate for high school student athletes with sudden cardiac arrest is 68%. If an automated external defibrillator is used, that survival rate jumps to 80%.
But not every school in the country has one of these, an AED. This quickly shocks the heart back into rhythm. And let me show you what we found. As of September, only 16 states in the District of Columbia have laws that require AEDs in every school, from elementary to high school.
Begin CPR.
There are some states, like Hawaii, that require AEDs at sporting events only. Meanwhile, Florida requires them at games, workouts, and practices at high schools governed by the Athletic Association.
It's just quite shocking to me that schools don't know about it, don't think about it, and most importantly, aren't prepared about it.
Despite Michigan not having a law at the time, Alex Bowerson's high school just happened to be prepared.
I don't know how many of these little farm town schools would actually have AEDs.
He was on a jog through the hallways, warming up for wrestling practice, when he started feeling a pain in his chest. 10 seconds later, he was on the ground. The nearby cheerleading coach jumped into action, performing CPR. After 2 minutes, he was blue.
Stopped breathing entirely, lost a pulse entirely. But by that time, she already had an AED on me.
Alex says the AED was at the end of its life cycle and only had 11% battery left. But that one shock brought him back to life.
It's incredible I survived, and it's honestly a blessing.
Shock delivered.
As soon as you can get your hands on the AED, you get it onto the patient and you deploy, because that is the game changer.
Harold Mayfield's worked with the same ambulance authority for nearly 2 decades. He teaches others how to be a paramedic and how to use an AED.
You don't need training to use this.
You do not. That's the beauty of this. You hit a button and it tells you exactly what to do. It's like Control-Alt-Delete, on your computer when nothing's working. That's what we're doing with the AED, is Control-Delete, get it to restart, and hopefully it goes right back into its natural rhythm.
The American Heart Association says when it comes to cardiac arrest, time is brain function. Time means survival.
We know for every 1 minute that somebody does not have CPR performed or an AED used, their chances of survival go down by 10%. So that means you have this 10-minute window really to make a huge impact on whether or not somebody is going to survive their cardiac arrest outside of the hospital.
Lawmakers in Congress have partnered with the AHA to introduce the Access to AEDs Act, which would require the Department of Health and Human Services to award grants to schools to help them pay for AEDs. As for Alex, he shared his story in Michigan, which as of April 2024 now requires AEDs in every school.
I'd love to see a world where every school has an AED within 3 minutes of anywhere.
Because when it comes to matters of the heart, beating the clock saves lives.
The U.S. Department of Education says it does not have a grant program that specifically provides funds for medical equipment in schools, but it does have programs where schools have some discretion in how the funds are used. If you have a story, we want to hear from you. Call us or email our investigators at the address you see on your screen right now. We'll look into any of your issues for the next Factfinder Investigates.